30 days ago, I stood on a treadmill for the first time in months and typed in a 3% incline and set the speed to 3 miles per hour. That was it. No sprinting, no intense intervals, no drenching sweat within the first 2 minutes. Just walking, uphill, for 30 minutes. And I remember thinking, there is absolutely no way this is going to do anything. I have tried real workouts. I have pushed myself hard. And here I am walking like I am strolling through a mall. But something happened over those 30 days that I genuinely did not expect. And by the time I tell you what changed, not just physically but mentally, I think you are going to look at this workout completely differently than you do right now. Welcome to the Vitality Code. If you are new here, we break down health science and real experiences in a way that actually makes sense for your everyday life. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because we put out videos like this every single week, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. So let me back up and explain what the 12-3-30 workout actually is, because if you haven't heard of it, the name sounds more complicated than it is. You get on a treadmill, you set the incline to 12%, you set the speed to 3 miles per hour, and you walk for 30 minutes. That is the entire workout. 12 incline, 3 speed, 30 minutes. It became massively popular a few years ago when a young woman shared it online and millions of people started trying it. But here's the thing that most of those viral videos never told you. Why does it work? What is actually happening inside your body when you do this specific combination of incline and speed? And more importantly, does it actually work for a real person doing it consistently for 30 days? That is exactly what I set out to find out. Before I started, I want to be honest with you about where I was. I was not in terrible shape, but I was not in great shape either. I had been mostly sedentary for a few months. My energy was inconsistent. I was sleeping okay, but not great. And I had some extra weight around my midsection that had been there long enough to feel permanent. I did not go into this experiment expecting dramatic transformation. I went in genuinely curious. And I made one rule for myself: 30 days. Every day except one rest day per week. No skipping because I did not feel like it. If I showed up and I did the 30 minutes, that counted as a win. That was the only rule. Day 1 was honestly easier than I expected. The 12% incline is noticeable. Your calves feel it, your glutes feel it. You are breathing harder than you would on a flat surface at the same speed. But you can hold a conversation. You're not gasping. That is actually one of the things that makes this workout interesting from a science perspective. Walking at an incline puts you in what researchers call Zone 2 cardio, which is moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise, where your heart rate sits at roughly 60 to 70% of its maximum. And Zone 2 cardio is something that exercise scientists have been increasingly excited about over the last decade because of what it does to your fat metabolism specifically. At this intensity level, your body preferentially burns fat as its primary fuel source, rather than carbohydrates. You are not working hard enough to shift into the high-intensity zone, where your body starts pulling from glycogen stores. You are staying right in the sweet spot where fat oxidation is highest, and you are doing it for 30 straight minutes. That is not nothing. By the end of the first week, I noticed something small but meaningful. My legs felt different going upstairs. Not stronger in a dramatic sense, but more capable, like they were waking up. The posterior chain, which includes your glutes, hamstrings, and calves, takes on significantly more load during incline walking than flat walking. One study found that walking at a 12% incline increases muscle activation in the glutes by nearly 30% compared to walking on a flat surface, and the hamstrings see a similar increase. This is important because these are large muscle groups, and large muscle groups burning energy means your metabolism is getting a real stimulus, even during what feels like a moderate effort. Week 2 is where things started to get interesting in a way I had not anticipated. My sleep got better. Noticeably better. I was falling asleep faster and waking up feeling more rested. At first, I thought it was coincidence. But the more I looked into it, the more sense it made. Consistent, moderate aerobic exercise raises your core body temperature during activity, and then triggers a cooling effect afterward that sends powerful signals to your brain that it is time to sleep. It also promotes the release of sleep-regulating hormones. Research shows that people who engage in regular, moderate cardio report significant improvements in sleep quality, including deeper sleep cycles and faster sleep onset. I was not expecting sleep to be part of this experiment, but it became one of the most impactful changes I experienced. My appetite also started shifting in week 2. This one surprised me. I expected to be hungrier because I was burning more calories, but what I found was that my cravings became more specific. Instead of reaching for something sweet or processed in the afternoon, I found myself actually wanting real food, protein, vegetables, things that felt satisfying in a different way. There is research to support this too. Moderate exercise helps regulate ghrelin, the hunger hormone that drives cravings, and it improves insulin sensitivity, which means your blood sugar stays more stable throughout the day. When blood sugar is stable, you do not get those sharp afternoon crashes that send you straight to the snack cabinet. The workout was quietly reshaping my relationship with food without me even trying. By week 3, I was genuinely looking forward to my 30 minutes, and that is the part that is hard to explain to someone who has not experienced it, but it is also maybe the most important part of this entire story. I am not someone who naturally loves exercise. I never have been. The idea of forcing myself to do intense workouts 5 days a week has never lasted more than a couple of weeks for me before I burn out or find an excuse. But 30 minutes of incline walking had crossed some kind of psychological threshold. It felt manageable. It felt doable, no matter what else was going on in my day. I started doing it first thing in the morning, before anything else, and it became the anchor that held the rest of the day together. When you start the morning by doing something that is good for your body, something shifts in how you treat the rest of your day. You make slightly better choices at breakfast. You drink more water. You are a little more patient. It is like the workout sends a signal, not just to your body, but to some part of your brain that says, today we are taking care of ourselves. The physical results by the end of week 3 were subtle but real. My clothes were fitting differently around the waist. Not dramatically, but noticeably. My posture had improved, probably because the glute and hamstring activation from the incline walking was counteracting the hip flexor tightness that comes from sitting too much. And my resting heart rate had dropped by about 4 beats per minute, which might not sound like much, but is a clinically meaningful improvement in cardiovascular fitness. Week 4 felt different from the inside. There was a consistency to how I felt physically that I had not had in a long time. Not the high of a great workout day or the crash of a day where everything felt hard. Just a steady, reliable baseline of energy and clarity that was there when I woke up and carried through most of the day. My brain fog, which I had honestly stopped noticing because it had become so normal, was significantly reduced. Exercise increases cerebral blood flow and promotes the release of BDNF, which is a protein that supports brain cell growth and cognitive function. 30 days of consistent Zone 2 cardio had been quietly upgrading the environment inside my brain while I was just trying to get my steps in. Day 30 arrived and I stepped on the scale out of curiosity, not because weight was ever the main focus of this experiment. I had lost about 4 pounds, which honestly felt underwhelming for a second until I remembered that I had not changed anything else. No diet changes, no calorie counting, no additional workouts, just 30 minutes of incline walking every day. 4 pounds of pure fat loss from one habit. And beyond the number, the non-scale results were the ones that actually mattered. Better sleep, clearer thinking, improved mood, more reliable energy, a genuine desire to keep going, and a workout habit that for the first time in my life actually felt sustainable. Here is what I want you to understand about the 12-3-12 workout that the viral posts never tell you. The reason it works is not magic. It is not a secret formula. It is because it puts you in the exact metabolic zone where fat burning is maximized. It activates the large muscle groups of your posterior chain. It creates enough cardiovascular stimulus to improve heart and lung efficiency, and it is gentle enough on your joints and your psychology that most people can actually stick to it. Sustainability is the most underrated variable in fitness. The best workout is the one you will actually do. And for a lot of people, especially those who have struggled to find something they can maintain, this might be exactly that workout. Now I want to hear from you. If you have tried the 12-3-30 workout, drop a comment and tell me how many days in you are and what you have noticed. And if you're thinking about starting it, tell me what is holding you back. I read every single comment, and this community is one of the best parts of making these videos. If this gave you something useful, share it with someone you know who is looking for a place to start. Sometimes, all someone needs is to see that a simple, sustainable approach can actually work. 30 days is not a long time, but it is long enough to prove something to yourself. And sometimes that proof is the most valuable thing you can get from a workout.